Keith Pompey from Philly.com and the Inquirer. He was there today as Elton Brand and Brett Brown both spoke and can give us a little bit more insight. He also put out a tweet about 8 minutes ago that said Fultz worked out with the Sixers today even after his agent said he wouldn't practice or play until his shoulder specialist. Fultz participated in light shooting with teammates, according to league sources. The Sixers did not have a formal practice. Keith?
What?
Yeah, that's what I just read.
Wow.
Keith, welcome aboard, man. How are you, pal?
Hey, I'm doing well. What's up, my man?
Everything is good. Well, last night, we're there. Everything seems to be positive. Now, the news comes out, not really news, but Markelle doesn't play last night. He says we look flat. We're just trying to get a little jump. Kind of ask questions. Does that mean he's not the backup? We'll see. Today, this news comes out that he's not going to play, practice, participate. How do we read between the lines on this? Is something happened or I mean, it's as bizarre as all these Sixer stories, man.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It kind of goes to, like, you remember like a year ago when you and I first started talking about it, and I kept saying it's mental.
Yep.
And everyone else kept saying it was the shoulder, and that's what it is. It has to be. I mean, the thing is, you have your agent saying that you're not going to participate in practice. Now, again, I know it was a light practice, and he did some light shooting. But if the shoulder was bothering him that much, he wouldn't be out there shooting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a bizarre situation, and it seems like, to me, that the kid is getting wrong advice. That's what it seems like.
Keith, he mentions, I guess this morning, the Sixers said they're kind of blindsided by this, right? I mean, they did not have knowledge that there was. He played 7. It was not a lot of minutes, but he still played last night. So they had no. Are they saying they did not have any knowledge of this injury right now?
Yeah. Now, again, what Elton Brand did say was he said that Markelle, he has bumps and bruises just like everyone else did, but to his knowledge, it wasn't anything, wrong with his shoulder. It was, just, occasional bumps and bruises that most guys who were logging a lot of minutes would get, throughout the season. You got the impression that, that they were a little bit blindsided by this, and Elton even said there was a point where, this is Markelle Fultz. Like, why can't he see the specialist sooner? I mean, let's face it, in the NBA, it's not like us. When they have to go see someone, it happens fast.
Right.
It just happens fast. And, his agent is saying it's going to happen on Monday.
Keith, it's A-time, man, and I just have been talking to you about this, I feel like, for a long time, and I know that at some point it feels like it's become cyclical, and we go up and down with the thing about Markelle Fultz, and you mentioned the bad advice. So my first question is, knowing and believing that he's getting this advice that's not on the level, and this reaction of pulling himself away from the team, in what capacity can you see this thing being repaired short term, and either Markelle Fultz coming back or there being a definitive answer of the team's moving on from Fultz?
Here's the thing. Like, when you factor in that the guy went to practice and he did some light shooting with the guys, if I'm the team, I'm looking at it like, we need to help this guy. We got to help him to see what's going on. You understand? Now, if he went away and he wasn't around, then it was one of those things where, well, I think we're going to have to move on without him. Because to me, the fact that he was there lets you know that he probably wasn't 100% on board with the decision that was made for him in regards to the shoulder specialist. I'm assuming that. But at the same time, there does become a point where this is becoming a distraction. Mm-hmm. I mean, the 76ers are, on playing their best basketball, in years. I mean, I know last year they had that run, but they were beating bad teams, but they're playing their best basketball. They have Jimmy Butler, the whole nine. And instead of talking about that, we're talking about practice. What I mean? So it's crazy. It's just bad. It's just bad for the Sixers.
at any point in your reporting and what you've talked about with Markelle Fultz in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, without you don't need to name anybody because I know you wouldn't, but has anybody in the building given you any indication that they believe Markelle Fultz is truly hurt?
No. What? No.
There you go.
No one in the building gave me that. Nah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like, how little self-awareness do you have to have if you're in Markelle Fultz's camp to put that out there, expecting any type of support from a team in which, if you had any idea what was going on the day-to-day, knows that they don't believe the kid's hurt?
Yeah, and you know what? And I feel bad for the kid because
I get it.
It's like, you have to, like, we all saw the game. I mean, you saw how it was yesterday. Well, let's go back to last week.
Right.
So, Jimmy Butler comes in. Markelle's the starting guy, and he's starting. He's starting a couple minutes. He doesn't play most of the game. JJ basically gets the bulk of the minutes. But Markelle starts. Jimmy Butler comes. He retweets that you can't trust anyone, right? So they get past that. He's the backup, and then all of a sudden, T.J. McConnell comes in and he replaces him. And then this happens. And, the fact that, the way it happened, if it would have happened last week, it would have happened a week ago, it wouldn't be as many questions. But the fact that it happened within 12 hours or 13 hours after he didn't play in the second half, it just looks bad. It looks bad for the kid. And I think that
well, it doesn't help, Keith, that last week he was asked. It doesn't help that he was asked if he was. When the Hanlon tweet came out on the 4th, he was asked 2 days later, and he said, "No, I'm fine. I'm healthy. It's just normal bumps and bruises." He said that same thing, right? You were there, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it just looks bad for the kid, and I think and here's the thing: the guy is 20 years old. I remember I was in college and I was 20 and I was doing stupid things.
You were wilding out, Keith. Don't lie.
Yeah, but I hope you don't find any of my old friends. But anyway, so
we got you. We got your old Instagram posts.
So you do certain things, but there was always someone who was older telling you not to do it. Not to do it. And believe me, Markelle has some people in his camp who are basically, some people who I know and people know who are basically, trying to tell him what to do and what, give him the right advice. But it just seems like, this was a bad decision by his agent. It just does.
Yeah, I know, Keith, you got to run, and we appreciate a couple minutes on a day like this. That's what I can't imagine Markelle Fultz went into the coach and said, "Coach, I need to play more or else or whatever." I got to imagine somebody else made him or represent him. But let me just, before you run, do you think they offered him a chance to maybe go down and play in the G League, and this is a response to that?
No, I don't. I don't know. I know typically a lot of times, some teams, they don't want their first overall pick to go down in the G League because basically to us, what that signifies is, okay, he's a bust or
can't
something
play.
like that. Yeah, he can't. So you don't really want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Right.
Okay.
All right, Keith. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Thanks, fellas.
See you
Go
soon.
Pitt.